and I'm gonna let you question us as well. But my second question was, do you still believe that the lake of fire, or what's your understanding about the lake of fire now?
I mean, as far as where's the lake of fire, I mean, that debate was so all over the place. But as far as where the lake of fire will be, I'm gonna be honest. My positioning on it, I can't say if it's America or not. From my understanding, maybe if you have precepts that says it's going to be this place, by all means. But I don't know where the lake of fire is going to be, but I do know it's going to be a place of torment.
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all praise, honor, and all glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Merkakwadash, which are the true names of the Heavenly Father Yahweh and His beloved Son Yahushua, whom the word ignorant calls God and Jesus Christ. I also want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that tells His truth, and much respect to the Akim out there laboring in His work, and peace and salutations to the hopefully elect that are scattered across the four corners of the earth. To you I say, Shalom. So yeah, what exactly is the lake of fire? As is mentioned right here in the book of Revelation 20 and verse 14, and also a few other scriptures as well in the book of Revelation. So right here it says, and death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. So is this talking about a place on the ground where you go and burn forever, for eternity, as you've been taught in the Christian church? Or is it speaking about a future prophetic event that was going to take place on the earth that would be so devastating and horrific that it would produce a landmass of fire, and from an aerial view it will look like a lake of fire due to the heat that would be put upon it. All right. Well, we know this can't be talking about a place on the ground called hell, because how can hell, be cast into the lake of fire? That doesn't make sense, right? So that cancels that out. So what is this talking about? We know that hell cannot be cast into hell. How can that happen if it doesn't make sense, right? So let's get into what this is talking about. But before we begin, one thing that you got to understand is that the fullness of the Bible is speaking about the Most High, Yahweh, setting up a kingdom for His Son, Yahushua, in which the Israelites would be redeemed from their enemies and rule over all nations. Okay? But before that would happen, there would be captives in four major captivities, four major empires, that being the Assyrian and Babylonian Empire, the Persian and Mede Empire, the Greek Empire, and also the Roman Empire. And the Roman Empire would be the four beasts, the final beasts that will rule before the return of our Lord Yahushua to set up this everlasting kingdom for His chosen people. And as He came on the scene during the time of the Roman Empire, they thought that was going to be the time that He was going to take down that empire. That's why the disciples asked Him in the book of Acts, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? You see? So that was the objective of our Lord Yahushua. But it didn't happen at that time. But this is the time that He's going to return as an angelic being to take down that fourth beast. All right, that Roman Empire that has came back in the form of America, and also the rest of this beast system, right? EU, the European Union, and the North Atlantic Treaty Organizations, which pretty much form of this global beast system in the image of ancient Rome. All right. So what this is speaking about is fire, of course, but the way that fire was going to be issued is by the way of World War III in the form of ICBMs pelting America so much that this place would melt, okay, and become a lake of fire. And so let's read it again. Revelation 20 and 14, and death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. So if fire is the second death, then what do you think was the first death? Okay. What do you think was the first death? Which was the polar opposite of fire. If you guessed the flood, then you're right. That was the last time that the Most High judged the earth on a global scale in such a manner that was so devastating. And that was called the first death. And so as the Lord deals with duality, all right, a false balance and abomination to the Lord, well, this time it's going to flood the earth with fire. Okay, it's not going to be the whole earth, but it's going to be primarily right here in America. So let's go to the book of 2 Peter, 3rd chapter, and we'll start at verse 5. So it says, "For this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai, the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water, whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished." See? So due to the wickedness that had accumulated in the earth, it came to a point in which the Most High was fed up, and there came a time of judgment. And so what he did was he destroyed everyone but Noah and everyone who was on that ship, okay, or that ark. And everyone else essentially perished, and that was known as the first death. So verse 7 says, "But the heavens and the earth," okay, and these heavens represents these current rulerships, okay. There's 3 tiers of heaven. You got the heavenly realm where the Father and the Son and the angels dwell, and you got the universe, which are a form of heavens, and then you got the earthly realm, which is heavens. All right. When you click on this word heaven right here, and we'll go to the root word etymology in the Strong's G 3735.
Strong's G 3735, Aras. Aras.
All right, so the definition you get is a mountain. Strong's definition. It says a mountain as lifting itself above the plain. All right. So a mountain in the scripture represents a high government. So a mountain lifts itself up above the plain, meaning that this government is above everything else. Now, what establishment in the earth today is above everything else? Right? What country, should I say, is above everything else? That would be America. This is that high mountain. All right. When you go to the book of Jeremiah 51 and verse 24, we'll start. It says, "Now we're rent unto Babylon." Now this is speaking about Babylon the Great, mentioned in Revelation 17 and 18. And the prophets were given these visions, that were given prophetic visions about this end time event that they didn't quite understand at that time. But now it's the time in which all these things have come to light. So again, "And I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in Zion in your sight, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai. Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain." You see that? O destroying mountain. That represents what? A high place, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai, which destroyeth all the earth. Okay, and how does that destroying mountain, which is America, destroy the earth? Well, by its philosophies. Everything that is contrary against the Most High, it spreads across the 4 corners of the earth. It says, "Now I will stretch out mine hand upon thee." The hand represents his son Yahweh Shai, "and roll thee down from the rocks, and will make thee a burnt mountain." You see that? So this current mountain is going to be made a burnt mountain. That is what? Babylon. All right. So when you go back to 2 Peter 3 and verse 7, "But the heavens and the earth, which are now," okay, matter of fact, I want to prove another point about that heaven thing. Let's go to Lamentations 2. Now this is what happened when the first temple fell. So Lamentations 2 and 1. "How had the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger, and cast down from heaven," you see, "and cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel." So Israel wasn't in the heavenly realm, okay? They were just exalted. They were the high mountain back then. So the Lord cast down from heaven, that exalted place, unto the earth that were abased, the beauty of Israel, and remember not his footstool in the day of his anger. So there you go. That explains that heaven. So going back, 2 Peter 3 and 7, "But the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word kept in store, reserved unto fire." See, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. Okay, America is reserved unto fire. So we'll skip down to verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with their great noise. That great noise being the thermonuclear missiles, the ICBMs, being shot over here by these different nations. Okay, which will produce this great noise. And after that great noise, what's going to happen? And the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The elements represents anything that you see. Everything that you see is made up of elements. So they all going to melt with fervent heat. Now, if they melt, then what's that going to create? It's going to create lava. Okay, hot molten lava. The earth also in the works that are therein shall be burned up. Okay, it's going to be foul across the earth, man. But mainly right here in America. So, seeing all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of person ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? All right. And so again, that great noise is going to be from those thermonuclear missiles being shot from these different nations. Let me go to Revelation real quick. Let's go to Revelation 17, in which John the Revelator on the island of Patmos was shown visions of future events. All right, Revelation 1:1, the revelation of Yahushua Hamashiach, which Yahweh gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must surely come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John. You see that? Okay, so John was given the revelation about future events that would take place before the kingdom of heaven be established. So Revelation 17 and verse 1, the dome of Babylon, and there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and taught me, saying unto me, come hither, and I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. These waters represents nations, all right, as America is in pretty much all these other nations, okay, corrupting them. So this word whore right here, in the Strong's G4204, porne.
Strong's G 4204. Parne. Parne.
Yep. Got to be talking about America, porne. So right here it says metaphorically and idolatrous. All right. Of Babylon, i.e. Rome. So you see how Rome is incorporated with Babylon, which means confusion by mixing. It says the chief seat of idolatry. So Rome, as Rome was the chief seat of idolatry, well, America is the same way. Okay. And also this whole beast system that's taken after the image of Rome. Okay. Strong's definition, figuratively, and idolater and harlot and whore. So the Lord is pissed off with this whore because it has corrupted the whole earth. So when you scroll down to verse 16, it says, in the 10 horns, which represents 10 powers, which these 10 powers are talking about the EU nations, the European Union, which there's more than 10 now, but it started with 10, which are swords upon the beast. These shall hate the whore, America, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Okay, so they're gonna burn this whore. Okay, this whore, America, with fire, man. And so when you go to chapter 18, scroll down to verse 7. Matter of fact, yeah, verse 7. It says, how much she hath glorified herself, America, and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I see the queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. And it's the mindset of these Americans, these Babylonians. They don't ever feel like they're going to be in adversity. All right. They never had to go through any kind of real pain, any kind of real war on their soil. Okay. So they feel in their heart that they can never be touched. So it says again, for she said in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine. And she shall be utterly burned with fire. Again, fire. For strong is the Lord power, Yahweh by Shemashah, who judgeth her. So that's going to be the conclusion of Babylon the Great. It's going to be judged by fire. So he's going to use these nations to shoot missiles at this place, which will produce this lake of fire, along with the chariots of Yahweh Ba'ashim Shai. So Jeremiah 50 in verse 14, it says, put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. This is speaking about Babylon the Great, okay? And he's talking to these other nations. He says, all ye that bend the bow, all ye that got nuclear capabilities, shoot at her and spare no arrows or missiles, for she have sinned against the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashim Shai. Okay? So when these missiles are shot, that's what's going to create that great noise. And ultimately, that's going to produce the elements melting with fervent heat, as you get in 2 Peter 3rd chapter, but also Psalm 58 in verse 6. It says, break their teeth, O power, talking about that military, in their mouth, okay? Break out the great teeth of the young lions, O Lord, and it represents Esau. So it says, let them melt away as waters which run continually. That's going to happen when he bent of his bow, silos, to shoot his arrows, let them be cut or as cut in pieces, as a snare which melteth, let every one of them pass away. So, of course, arrows are not going to make you melt, man, right? Regular arrows are not going to make you melt. So this got to be talking about something other, okay? It says, as a snare which melteth away, let every one of them pass away, like the untimely birth of a woman, that they may not see the sun. So that's going to be the judgment of Babylon the Great. And again, the Lord showed the prophets all these different visions about this future event that they did not fully understand right then, but now it has been made clear. Okay, so when we go back to Revelation 20 and 14, it says, and death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. All right, so this death and hell is essentially talking about America. All right, hell just means the grave, and death is speaking about America. Okay, as this place produces nothing but death. Let's go to Job 10. It's also known as the valley of the shadow of death. All right, I think that's in Job 10 and 21. All right, now Job knew that he would die and be reincarnated later to see his Redeemer, which should stand at the latter day. And he knew that he would have to come to this place, America. So he's here right now. So it says, before I go whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death. The land of darkness and the shadow of death. Okay? This place produces nothing but death. A land of darkness as darkness itself, and of the shadow of death without any order, because this place doesn't abide by the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Ba'ashim Shai, all right, which is order. So there's nothing but disorder here, and that produces death. It says, and where the light is as darkness. So the light of the elites in this current system that rule America, that is as darkness, because it's adverse to the will of Yahweh Ba'ashim Shai. All right. So this place, America, is known as the shadow of death, and hell simply means the grave. It's not talking about hell on the ground where you're going to burn forever, but it's talking about literally the grave. All right, let's click on it. All right, in the Strong G86. So this is the proper definition right here. Number 3, later use of this word, the grave. Okay, death and hell. So essentially the grave. Now you got these elites who are going to be hiding in these bunkers. And they're going to die in their grave, man. All right, Amos 9 and 2, it says, though they dig into hell, though they dig into the grave or the ground, thence shall mine hand take them. Okay, so they're going to have underground bunkers that they're going to be hiding from the destruction from. And so it says, then shall my hand take them, though they climb up to heaven, and they got space stations up there. Thence will I bring them down. Okay, so hell is essentially in the ground. So all of that's going to be cast into the lake of fire. And this is all speaking about America, man, which is the second death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. All right. So that's essentially going to be the 2/3, because they are the only ones, the Israelites are the only ones that can be saved from this destruction. And so for the 2/3 that did not believe in our Lord Yahushua and his testimony, well, they're going to be cast into the lake of fire, man. All right. So, yeah, and death and hell, which is America, would cast into the lake of fire, the thermonuclear destruction. This is the second death. So, Lord willing, you're edified. Till next time, I say, Shalom.